All right, last Saturday I did a video on the 2024's best men's releases ranked, and today I'm doing the niche and luxury. No designers here. I plan on doing a third video of random fragrances that I discovered that I haven't mentioned in this list and the last list I did. So find out about 21 most amazing niche fragrances of 2024 coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sebastian, talking about 2024's fragrances in the niche world, luxury and luxury niche. So we've got 21 fragrances here, but honestly, I have left off one. I had to leave it off because I felt like it wasn't fair. But I'm going to tell you what it is right up front. It's JUSBOX's 54. I felt like since I was involved in the creation of this fragrance, I wouldn't rank it in a list. But honestly, the feedback has been so amazing for this fragrance. I'm very, very grateful that people ended up liking it. And I got a lot of support from those of you that follow this channel. If you don't know about 54, I've got a lot of videos on the channel about it. Go catch those videos. But in a nutshell, it's patchouli, pina colada, vanilla, chocolate, cinnamon, rum, sandalwood, cardamom, davana, and tobacco. And so we've got a great trail and compliments coming in from this fragrance. So please check it out. I have a link in the info box. It takes you to ZGO, and there's a 15% off discount code there. You can take advantage of that. So let's get started with the list. At 21, going to the house of AKRO, it's Glow. This is ranked pretty low, but I absolutely love the smell. It just acts very light on me. I wanted more intensity, more, loudness, but I don't get it. But as a smell, it's fantastic. It's a great amber. Glow is the right word for it. It glows. It's got an orange glow for it. But it's vanilla, amber, incense, and pink pepper. So it's not only vanillic and ambery, but it's also spicy and smoky. It's a great scent. Check it out if you don't know it. Up next, going to the house of JACQUES. Now, this might be a technicality. This used to be a designer. They no longer make clothes. It's just a niche house now. This is the latest launch, Incense COPAL. Really a great, great incense fragrance. Absolutely love it. It's got incense and loads of it, and it's also bright amber. So it's almost like taking Glow, because it's got a lot of ambery touches, and adding like a citrusy edge to it and an overdose of spices like pepper, and there's a lot of incense here, or frankincense. A really wonderful ambery incense fragrance from the house of JACQUES. It is a great offering from that house. But next, going to the house of Plume Impression, it's ONDA d'Oro, this one right here. Now this to me is a leather fragrance. It's a softer leather, slightly animalic, and also very retro. Has a very vintage vibe for me. Really love it. It's a lot of leather. There's powdery touches here, and then there's also resinous touches as well. So you've got a kind of labdanum and musk and vanilla with patchouli, but an overdose of this kind of vintage smelling leather. Really wonderfully done. It's ONDA d'Oro from the house of Plume Impression. That is at number 19. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. The one I speak a lot about that brand is Royal Bourbon, but I think that would be my number 2. It's a really, really great offering. And once again, it sits a bit closer to skin, but as a leather, it's really nice, cozy leather. So there's a lot of fragrances that launched this year, and this is one of the fragrances. I think a lot of brands are, launching a lot of different fragrances. So it kind of gets a little overwhelming and confusing as well, because I get overwhelmed with too much. It's almost like going into a restaurant and there's like a 50-page menu and you can't decide what to eat. Similar to, brands launching so many fragrances at once. But this is definitely a great one from this house. It's from the house of Mind Games. It's Prodigy, recently featured in the mystery box that I put out over Thanksgiving, Black Friday holiday. For me, I like this one. It's so complex and it does a lot when you're wearing it. It starts off like a little Middle Eastern fragrance and ends up to become a kind of a powdery French style, slightly classic inspired fragrance. But it has gourmand notes. There's cafe latte here, there's rose here, there's milk and things like that. But it's woody, powdery, and ambery and spicy as well when it's drying down. It's Prodigy from the house of Mind Games. So fantastic, really love it, but ranked at number 18. But then this one of the 2 fragrances that was launched by Creed, this is DELPHINUS. Not Centaurus, but DELPHINUS. DELPHINUS to me is a really gorgeous, cozy, soft, wearing powdery amber fragrance, and it has vanillic touches, smoky touches, and almonds as well, and it's a super delicious fragrance. The other one, Centaurus, was nice. I think it would have ended up around closer to 30, but I feel like this one was the winner between the 2, and it smells super fantastic, and I love wearing it. If you haven't tried it, do try it, but there's a lot of almonds, heliotrope, ambery touches, and you name it, orris and things like that in here. So DELPHINUS is a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance. Check that out if you haven't tried it yet. But the next one is from the house of... what's the house? Atelier MATERI, and they launched 4 fragrances. They launched 3 extracts and 1 regular fragrance, and I really love this one. It's a great alternative to Philosophus because it does remind me a little bit of Philosophus, but much more oomphier, not as flat, because over the years, since Philosophus has been around since the 90s, it has kind of lost its luster. This is, I think, a much more robust version of something like that. It's CEDRE FIGALIA. It's cedarwood, fig leaves, mate, spinach, basil, woods, fig milk, bergamot, and pepper. I think the spinach and the mate give it a lot of green boost along with the fig leaves. So it's a very figgy fragrance, but you have an overdose of greenness like the spinach that comes in, the mate, and even the basil. Really wonderful fragrance for a fig fragrance. If you're looking for a great alternative for something like Premier Figuier or Philosophus from Diptyque, this is a great, great alternative. It smells fantastic. So it's CEDRE FIGALIA from the house of Atelier MATERI. But the next fragrance, going to the house of Atelier d'Azur, it's Cocoa KIMIYA. This one right here. Cocoa KIMIYA is an extrait of parfum. It's supposedly 30% concentration. I wish it was a bit more potent, but I really, really love the way this fragrance smells. It's fantastic. And you've got cocoa and you've got cardamom, but for me I also get amber and musk, and it's slightly animalic, but it's a super delicious fragrance that I really can't get enough of. It's very, very addicting. But I wanted it to be a bit more bolder, a bit more louder. Sadly, it's not, so it's ranked a little lower. But if it was a bit more potent and intense, with a lot of great sillage, this would have ranked really high. But it is nicely put here at number 15. Cocoa KIMIYA from the house of Atelier d'Azur. So was 2024 the year of the peach? If you are a fan of peach fragrances, go catch my video of peach fragrances. There's a whole bunch of peach fragrances in that video. I think there might even be 20. But this is probably the most... well-known peach fragrance that launched in 2024. It's Peach's Revenge from the house of Sarah Baker, and really great job from Chris Maurice, who created this fragrance. It's a fruity, creamy gourmand with peach, guava, nectarine, amaretto, orris, cardamom, ginger, cinnamon. Lots of stuff happening. Even amber, vanilla, caramel, and musks are featured here. If you like the creations of Chris Maurice, you're probably going to like this one. It's not as great for me as Gold Spot and Ludo are for me. It's peach after all, but I think it's a nice work from Chris Maurice. He always does great work, and I think it's a very popular fragrance, and if you're into gourmands with fruity notes, definitely check out Peach's Revenge from the house of Sarah Baker. But moving on to the house of Parfums d'Ucita, it's Pelagos, this one right here. Pelagos is a modern take on a men's fougere barber style fragrance with an overdose of spiciness. On my skin, there's a bit of a cumin thing that pops through. I don't think they credit cumin here, but I really love it the way it smells on me. It's super sexy. But it's bergamot, Letsea cubeba, sea breeze, orris butter, white thyme, tonka beans, leather, sandalwood, patchouli. Super fresh, very breezy. It's got a bit of a sea breeze, but uber spicy. If you like spicy fougere, modern type of a men's barbershop fragrance, definitely try Pelagos from the house of Parfums d'Ucita. But moving on to the house of Electimus London, it's Spice d'Arno, this one right here. Spice d'Arno is a really delicious bready gourmand and wonderful creation, but this is vanilla, thyme, saffron, leather, myrrh, orange blossom, oud, pink pepper, but it also has bran, cardamom, cistus, gurgeon. Really wonderful creation. It seems like it can be not gourmand, but for me, there's a really delicious gourmand quality about it that I really love. There's a very major cozy factor about it. It's super delicious. Maybe the name might not be correct, because for me, I get more gourmand touches rather than a lot of spices, but there are spices thrown in as well. This is Spice d'Arno from the house of Electimus London, and that is at number 12. So up next at number 11, going to the house of Swiss Arabian, it is Shagaf Vanilla Toffee. It's a cheaper fragrance, but I'm featuring it here as a niche house. It's a Middle Eastern house for sure. But I think this is the best that they've created with the Shagaf series of fragrances. It's coffee, dates, brown sugar, walnuts, toffee, vanilla, cookie dough, tonka, benzoin, musk, woods, milk, cardamom. A lot of great things happening. It's super delicious. It's very much a gourmand, and it smells fantastic for a gourmand. It does have a slight smokiness in there as well, but I absolutely love it. And I love the fact that it's got coffee, it's got dates, the sugar, the walnuts. Super yummy fragrance. Shagaf Vanilla Toffee at number 11. But then going to the house of Amouage. It's Outlands. This is Outlands, created by Cecile Zarokian. Really wonderful offering. Super sexy. Really great trail. And between the 3 fragrances that this series includes, this is my favorite. It was the one that really got me to say wow when I smelled all 3. And really fell in love with the third one, Outlands. It's very similar to what Cecile Zarokian creates. Very overdosed with a lot of notes, but it really works here, whereas I didn't care for Vanilla Edesia as much from the house of Electimus London, which she created also. Here she did a great job with it. I love all the notes working wonderfully together. It's geranium, birch, elemi, vanilla, Sichuan pepper. There's a lot of patchouli here. There's anise, benzoin, wormwood, and I think it's the combination of all of these notes along with the anise and wormwood that really works for me. That's not the whole notes breakdown, but what a fantastic aromatic, spicy, earthy fragrance this is. Really, really wonderful, where it's Outlands from the house of Amouage. Let me know if you're familiar with that one. And then I am featuring this one here, even though I was a little underwhelmed with it. I recently wore it a couple times on a weekend. I was gone on a quick trip, and really came alive on me. This is from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. It's Absolute Pour Le Soir, the return of this fragrance, I guess, the re-release. In the end, it's cumin, rose honey accord, Cistus labdanum, vanilla amber accord, and it's super, super delicious. Problem is, it does sit close, but it's definitely one of my favorite DNAs ever created. I absolutely love it. I'm glad they brought it back. It's not identical, but it comes pretty close now that the fragrance has settled a little bit, and I do see some minor changes or differences between the two. But man, it is a really great, super sexy, musky fragrance. One of the best fragrances ever created. It's not the original. Again, it's not. But I think I can live with this and use liberally and save up my original bottle. But this is Absolute Pour Le Soir from the house of Maison Francis Kurkdjian at number 9. Then going to the house of Zoologist Perfumes. It's Rabbit. Are you guys familiar with Rabbit? Inspired by carrot cake, after all, because rabbits eat carrots, and what were they going to do with this fragrance? They created a gourmand, and it turned out to be a great, delicious gourmand created by Fanny Bal. It's biscuit accord, vanilla, carrots, cinnamon, green vegetable leaves, white almonds, hay, musks, patchouli, apple, bergamot, clover flower, violet, and jasmine. It really does smell like carrot cake, and if you guys didn't know already, carrot cake's one of my favorite cakes to eat. Absolutely love it. More of the actual cake itself, a little bit of the frosting because I don't like it uber sweet when it's going in my mouth. But this is super delicious and great creation from the house of Zoologist Perfumes. It's not my number 1, it's my number 2 favorite from Zoologist. So that's Rabbit from the house of Zoologist Perfumes. And moving on to the house of Ormond Jane. It's Vanille des Afriques Intensifo. Yes, it's so good. Really super sexy and a compliment getter and wonderful offering. And it's actually a very unisex but more masculine leaning vanilla fragrance with Madagascar and also bourbon vanilla with orris butter, jasmine, coriander seeds, bergamot, carrot seeds, osmanthus, magnolia, and a lot of other notes mixed in together to create a really wonderful, not as syrupy, sticky, sweet, sugary vanilla, but kind of very easy to wear, but very unique smell, original smell, and a wonderful offering from the house of Ormond Jane. So it's Vanille des Afriques Intensifo at number 7. So stick around till the end to find out some fragrances that I left off in the main list, and I'll let you know why I left them off. But let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances so far, and also add a comment and let me know what your favorite niche fragrances were from 2024. But moving on to the house of Arquiste, it's Almond Suede, this one right here, and it's a wonderful, wonderful offering from this house. What better to give you this really cozy suede leather fragrance with an overdose of nutty gourmand touches. It turned out so super fantastic. Absolutely love this one, and definitely a great fragrance launch from the house of AKRO. It's vanilla with bitter almonds. There's honeycomb, there's neroli, orange blossom, saffron, cistus, rock sugar, suede, birch tar, pink pepper, bergamot. Really wonderful wear. Again, suede leather. There's a whole video on the channel now on suede leather fragrances. You can catch the video. This is ranked on the list as well. And again, suede leather is more of a cozy, almost gourmand kind of leather, not animalic, not intense and things like that, or smoky. So here you've got that smooth, cozy leather mixed in with gourmand notes and nutty notes. It turned out really fantastic by Khalees Becker. Almond Suede from the house of AKRO. Check that out if you don't know it. But at number 5, going to the house of Sospiro, it's Dolce Sonata. Once again, we've got a great fragrance from the house. It's become my number 2 after Dolce Melodia. And also a compliment getter and a great, great trail with this one. Super, super sexy. It's cotton candy, raspberry, apricots, osmanthus, incense, lime, lily of the valley, rose, bergamot, jasmine, patchouli, musk. And basically, it's another fruity floral fragrance. But this has a bit of animalic smokiness, and I feel like there's a leathery note that comes in. They don't mention it, but it does appear, and it might cause confusion to the wearer when you think you're getting a really gorgeous fruity floral fragrance, but what the heck is this fragrance note that's coming in to ruin this fragrance? I actually like that contrast. It might kind of rub people the wrong way, but for me it really works. And it kind of almost splits the fragrance into two for some strange reason, because it really cuts through. The other thing with this one is it reminds me of a cross between Fenty by Fenty and also a discontinued Raja Parfums fragrance, the one with cotton candy. I think it's the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It reminds me of those two fragrances. Check them out and maybe check this one out and see if you find any similarities, but it's definitely a great fragrance from the house of Sospiro. It's Dolce Sonata at number 5. Then moving on to the house of Un Nuit Nomade, it's Estrella de la Mañana. Very, very masculine take on a vanilla fragrance, not gourmand whatsoever. Now it does have gourmand touches, but it's overdosed with birch, so it creates a leathery, smoky touch to the fragrance. In the end, you've got lots of vanilla and cocoa and benzoin tears for the ambery touches, the resinous ambery touches, but that birch just really, really takes over, and again creates the kind of a smoky, leathery thing. Really wonderful offering. Totally different for a vanilla fragrance and definitely very wearable. If you're looking for gourmand, you're probably not going to find it here in Estrella de la Mañana, but if you want something different, check it out. A really great fragrance at number 4. All right, we're into the top 3. At number 3, it's Filthy Musk from the house of Born to Stand Out. Oh man, it's good. It's a really, really great take on a musk. A bit on the sweet gourmand side, but on the animalic side as well. You've got these kind of animalic notes in here, civet and animalic musk, along with pineapple, honey, patchouli, nutmeg. There's jasmine, vanilla, caramel, ambroxan, ambergris, tonka, rum, you name it. Really, really wonderful. Just like last year when Nasomato launched Sadonaso. Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember now. This has become my favorite musk, followed by Sadonaso. It could be a toss-up too. If you like that one, you're probably going to like this one as well. Filthy Musk from the house of Born to Stand Out. And at number 2, it's Tonka Hysteria from the house of D'Orsay. Really love this delicious, nutty, almost cherried and boozy take on tonka beans, but it also has smoky and spicy touches in there as well, with mandarin, vanilla, there's benzoin, there's myrrh, cinnamon, olibanum, pink pepper, benzoin, tonka beans. Really delicious fragrance here from D'Orsay. It's at number 2. If you haven't tried it, please do. It's an extrait de parfum. And then I'm ending the list at number 1 with the house of Maison Crivelli with Tuberose Astral. Really a great take on tuberose. I would say it's a bit on the masculine side as well. But because on me, I get cumin. And Quinton Biche knows how to use cumin. It's not credited, but for me, on my skin, it appears. It cuts right through that whole creamy, more feminine take on a floral note, obviously, of tuberose. But it's cinnamon bark, tuberose, osmanthus, carrot seeds, cistus absolute, musks, and vanilla. Again, definitely really, really great. It's now taken over my love for patchouli magnetic, where that is polarizing. I feel like the consensus on this one with everybody seems to be mostly positive. So I think people seem to like this one. And definitely for me, from these colored bottles, it's my number 1, followed by Patchouli Magnetic, and I think it deserves a number 1 spot. Great job from Quinton Biche. It's Tuberose Astral at number 1. And that's it for you guys. What are your thoughts on these fragrances. Did you have a different #1 fragrance? And what's your top 5? Add a comment below so I can find out. But either way, guys, this is the list for 2024. I'm going to do another list of maybe forgotten fragrances, ones that I bought from maybe the designer's luxury collections and things like that. Just so I can do a part 3 of this video series. But let me know your thoughts on these. Add some comments below and let me know your favorite fragrances of 2024, especially when it comes to the niche and luxury. Otherwise, please like this video, please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye. Okay, just wanted to do a little bonus section once again. We want to highlight some fragrances that I did not feature because they were flankers. So I think Amawage's Guidance 46 was really great, but Guidance came out the year before. I didn't feature it in this main list because it was a flanker. For me, it was more of an ambery take on the original fragrance. I really loved it, but I left it off because, like I said, it was a flanker. Same thing with Nuit Nomade's Jardin de Misfa Extrait de Parfum. Another intense take on an extract take on the original, which happens to be one of my all-time favorite fragrances from not only Nuit Nomade but in general. But I wanted to leave it off because I've already spoken a lot about it, and it's just a flanker of the original, which smells very, very close. And then Essential Parfums Bois Imperial Extrait, same thing. It's just an extrait version of it. Really wonderful take on the fragrance, an extract version of the original. But since it's a extract, I left it off. And same thing with Les Eaux Primordiales Ambre Supermassive. Once again, an extract version of the original Ambre Superfluide. I much prefer the Ambre Supermassive, but I left it off because it's just a flanker of the original. And then the last but not least, Rosendo Matou's #5 Elixir. Again, it's similar to the original, just a more highly concentrated take on the original at 30%. So I left these off, but they're definitely great fragrances, favorites of mine, but... and again, the only reason I left them off is because they've already been spoken a lot about with their original versions. And then before I go, I just want to mention JUSBOX 54 again. It was such a great pleasure to work on this fragrance. I feel like I've accomplished a lot with a really great fragrance that people seem to love. And the consensus is seeming like a lot of people enjoy this one. If you haven't gotten your nose on it, it's selling at a lot of different places. In town here in San Francisco, you can go to ZGO Perfumery. You can go to Lucky Scent, Perfumology, Beverly Hills Perfumery, Scent Room. And there is the new perfume shop in Nashville, Tennessee, I believe, and there might be some other perfume shops that you can find us at in the States. Please go get your nose on it or order some samples. I think it's a great patchouli focused fragrance, very creamy, chocolatey, milky, fantastic trail, amazing compliments, and again, I'm so proud of this fragrance and I want to highlight it, but I wanted to leave it off the main list because I didn't think it was fair to include it in the list. Either way, that's 54, and that's all I have for you guys. See you guys later. Bye-bye.